Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, please be really sound. Get involved, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. So today I wanted to speak kind of directly to all the musicians out there. Anyone who's, an independent musician and has ever kind of thought about maybe working with a record label. Maybe you have worked with a record label, or maybe it's just something that's kind of on your radar as something you'd maybe like to do one day, or maybe not even, right? But I wanted to pose an idea to you, a concept to you, and kind of gauge the room a little bit. Get your feelings on this to see if this could be workable, right? Because I come at this from both sides, right? I run a record label, but I have also been a musician as well. So I like to think that I can see both sides of the argument here, and those two sides often have a lot of friction in kind of what they want each other to do in order to achieve success, right? And I would say the main area of friction, or the main argument that record labels and artists kind of have at the moment, is to do with social media and content delivery and delivering content or not delivering content. And what often happens is the record label want the artist to deliver at scale lots of content and be posting all the time, and the artist typically doesn't want to do that because it's time consuming, it's hard, it's difficult to be creative, and they don't necessarily know how to do it, right? So from the artist side on this argument, they see it as, well, their job isn't to make content, their job is to make music. And quite often they will see it as the record label's job to do the promotional side of things. That's why they sign with a record label, because they see it as, a shared responsibility between them and the record label. They should be doing the social media. They should be doing the marketing, right? So that a lot of the time, in my experience, musicians resent doing the social media side of things, or certainly resent doing too much of it or lots of it, right? But from the record label side of this argument, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, a lot of pitching to DSPs, a lot of working with your distributor to make sure they have everything that they need. You might be running burner accounts, you might be running advertising. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that relies on the artist also delivering content from their side. So I've had experience working with artists recently whereby we've done a lot of work. And I just want to clarify as well, it's not necessarily artists' fault. Sometimes they don't know how to do this side of the job, or sometimes it's not necessarily the skill set that they have. And they've kind of been forced into a world where they have to do this, even though it's not really kind of what they signed up for, I suppose. But anyway, recently I've run a number of campaigns where I've put a lot of money into advertising for a record label. I've done a lot of promotion for an artist. I've worked very hard, and my team have worked very hard to get a song off the ground. And it's fell down because artists haven't really delivered on the content side of things, right? And ultimately, that causes a record to stall, streaming to not go as high as we want. We haven't really had the support from DSPs that we wanted. So it's been it's caused a record, multiple records we've worked on not to do as well as we wanted to, right? So I wanted to propose a potential solution, something that could be drawn into contracts when working with a record label, or when an artist is signing a label is signing an artist, right? So I want to get your opinion. How would you feel about signing a record deal that stipulates in the deal, in the record label deal, that an artist has to contractually deliver X amount of content, right? In video format, this could be in terms of like an amount of post delivered, or it could be in, an amount of minutes of footage. I don't know. Like there's ways that you'd have to frame this, but I am seriously considering the idea of putting into my label deals from now on that artists must deliver a certain amount of content in order to validate that record deal. And this isn't me being, cracking the whip or anything like that. It's because it's necessary. And the trade off for that, right, would be potentially that we commit to a minimum marketing spend, right? So you commit to, as the artist, delivering a certain amount of content, and then the record label in return commits to an amount of marketing spend, because there's no point committing to, right, as a record label, we'll spend, I don't know, £1,000 on advertising for this album, but without knowing that the artist is going to deliver content in order to spend on ads. You need content to advertise, right? So I don't know. I feel like that might be quite a fair trade-off. But I'm interested to see, like, I feel like also artists might feel like they wouldn't be so comfortable signing a contract which stipulates that they have to deliver a certain amount of content. But I've had so many projects recently that have not done as well as they could have done because of a lack of content delivery. On, not this is no one's fault necessarily. Sometimes it's the management team that we're working with, or sometimes it's time differences, or sometimes an artist is touring or too busy or whatever. But I feel like it would be really good to, in future, have something from the start written into the contract that says there has to be a content delivery here, and in return, we will commit to a certain amount of spend. So I don't know. Let us know your thoughts. Would that be fair? If you were looking to sign with a record label and they said, in order to sign to this record label, you need to commit to X amount of posts per week, or X amount of delivery per week, but in return, we will complement that with X amount of advertising spend. I personally think that feels quite fair, actually. It feels like quite a fair kind of return and trade off for both services. But let me know what you think.